Deion Sanders can't rest easy as Shedeur Sanders' hopes vanish with Browns. Replacement talks, a few weeks of prayers, hope, and anguish later, Deion Sanders looks to be finally back. His continuous updates on social media show us a real picture of how his journey back to health has been. He's sharing photos of himself hunting with Deion Jr., fishing with Travis Hunter, and of course, writing out messages that give us a sneak peek into what he's thinking. So just want to remind you that the same way that he walked and imagined to be bigger, he felt smaller. His coach kept telling him as a single mom, better be a woman, better put on some skin before you press the button that burns out the rest of us. He went there in his head to rest from the work of his day. He felt smaller. He went there in his head to rest from the work of his day. He felt smaller. He went there in his head to rest from the work of his day. He felt smaller. He went there in his head to rest from the work of, and he's given us a new update into what's going on in his mind, sending out a pretty simple but cryptic message about his return. All of us know Deion and his love for writing out posts that at a glance might seem motivational or inspirational. However, Coach Prime has sent us a new message through his latest Instagram post. It talks about perseverance and persistence, that too on a Monday morning. Just the right time for a little boost to recover from the weekend hangover. Sparkling some Monday morning motivation, Coach Prime said, "This is going to be a great week for you because you've gone through it and made it," he adds. He is talking about the rough time you would have gone through this past week and that you've been brave enough to deal with it and still stand up tall. Also referring to the time that he had his toes amputated because of blood clots and still came back stronger. You've been talked about and still kept your name whole, and you've been lied on, but you're still doing what you're called to do, Deion continues writing. In this part, Deion Sanders is just trying to show us how strong we really are. The post further read, "You've been talked about and still kept your name whole, and you've been lied on, but you're still doing what you're called to do. Now it's your turn to look and laugh because you are resilient." This outlook is similar to how Deion is doing personally as well as health-wise. The struggles and battles that he's talking about are essentially the illness he was facing. And now he is much better and ready to take on the world of college football. He is also looking back and laughing at those who probably thought he couldn't make it through. But we can't help but notice how he's just a concerned dad telling his son all will be okay. While Deion Sanders is coming back from illness and his struggles, his son Shedeur seems to be struggling a bit himself. Not because of his father's illness, but rather because of a situation unfolding in Berea. Shedeur Sanders is likely to be replaced soon. 2 months have passed since Shedeur Sanders was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. But what was predicted about Shedeur being the primary starter is soon becoming far from the truth. While his performances in the minicamps and OTAs were decent, keeping him in the race, things are now changing. And it now seems that not only is he losing the QB1 position, but there are reports that he might potentially even be off the depth charts. You might be thinking about why I'm talking about Sanders being off the depth chart. The reason? The Browns are finding a new potential quarterback, Drew Aller. And as per Ryan McChrystal and Mike Moritas, Aller is the Browns' potential No. 1 pick in the 2026 draft. If Aller can build on what he did last season in 2025, he could be the first signal caller selected, and the Browns are a very realistic landing spot for him if they stink it up like many expect them to, Moritas said, meaning that if all goes well for Aller, he might just replace one of the players on the roster in 2026. But what's causing Kevin Stefanski this sudden change of mind? It's the fact that maybe Shedeur was never the main character in Stefanski's roster, and according to Jay Crawford, Stefanski has already made up his mind. As the latest, after all, Stefanski signed Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett to lead the squad. Even during their draft, Gabriel came in the 3rd round before Shedeur, possibly hinting at the fact that Shedeur was always more of a backup and an afterthought, more than a starter. Deion Sanders has never been one to sit still. As Coach Prime, he's rebuilt Colorado football with charisma, confidence, and a will forged in Hall of Fame gold. But these days, even his swagger can't hide the unease beneath the surface. His son Shedeur Sanders, once touted as a future face of the NFL, is watching his dreams flicker as whispers from the Cleveland Browns front office suggest they may be looking elsewhere for their quarterback of the future. For Deion, this isn't just football. This is blood, family, legacy. And right now, that legacy feels like it's under siege. It wasn't long ago that Shedeur was on every scout's radar. He had the stats, the arm, the poise, and, most importantly, the spotlight. Playing under his father at Colorado, Shedeur thrived in the limelight. He was charismatic, tough, and media savvy, a natural fit for the modern NFL. There were flashes of brilliance in his game, a pinpoint deep ball, uncanny pocket awareness, and a quiet, killer instinct that mirrored his dad's brash dominance. But the 2024 college season was a storm. Colorado's offensive line collapsed under pressure, literally. Shedeur was sacked more than any quarterback in the country, a human punching bag behind a line held together with hope and duct tape. His decision to stay in college another year, rather than declare for the 2024 NFL Draft, made with his father's full support, began to look more like a miscalculation than a strategic delay. While Shedeur was battling broken protection and public scrutiny, the NFL world moved on. Quarterbacks rose from unexpected places, new names, new stars. The league doesn't wait for anyone, not even a Sanders. And now comes the Browns news. Sources close to the organization have leaked that Cleveland, once rumored to be a perfect landing spot for Shedeur in the 2025 draft, may no longer be interested. With Deshaun Watson's injuries mounting and trust waning, the Browns have reportedly begun discussions with veteran quarterbacks and are eyeing other college prospects with more traditional pedigrees. The idea of drafting Shedeur, with his celebrity baggage, his father's looming presence, and a college resume marred by team struggles, is quickly losing steam in the Cleveland war room. For Deion, that's a gut punch, and he's not hiding it.